I got the notification.
Is it loading up? Let me see.
We're live. I got the notification.
Okay, just checking. And we are back with another episode of Nothing But Facts, Season 2, Episode 12. I'm Chloe Rogers, grandson of Steve Rogers, son of Aaron Rodgers, and I'm here with the bestest co-host in the whole wide world.
You know, I'm just here living my best life. Happy to be here.
Oh, you're not a bandit no more?
Nah,
What
I had to
happened in
change my
Mass?
lifestyle.
Okay.
It was kind of hot.
Imano,
You know, starting to ease up.
playing Warzone all day.
Yep,
You got a dub today. I saw that.
I
Good shit.
did. I did.
And we got two special guests. It's a long time coming. The Prophets, Kev, Rashad from Preach Kev Preach with Rashad. What's up, guys?
What up, bro? How's it going, man?
Vibing, man.
Good,
Corona
good.
time. Playing 2K. That's all I play in my team. I'm going crazy in that shit.
Yeah, we're glad to finally join you guys, man. Like you said, it's been a long time coming. We've done our draft, but officially being on the pod is our first time. So glad you guys invited us on.
Nah, for sure. It was coming. We just we had a couple guests in between, but we were like, bro, we got to get you guys on for sure.
That's a fact.
But yeah, let's kick it off. I didn't even write these topics. I didn't send them to you guys. This one that I'm gonna do. So I know you guys saw that. Basically, teams are gonna be like they're gonna get another third round pick if they hire a black coach or a GM.
Now, can you explain this to me a little more? Because remember, I told you guys.
You guys take the floor because that's all I know about it when I saw the tweet.
The more I hear about it and the more I think about it, I'm thinking they're going to be compensatory picks, and those are the picks that come at the end of the third round and at the end of rounds, going after the third round from then on.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's just an extra pick. That's all it is. So, I mean, I can see why it would upset people, but at the same time, I think it's going to also motivate some owners to be like, hell, that's an extra third-round pick. Let me just hire this guy who's actually qualified.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I feel like that's kind of wrong though. Like it shouldn't have to come to that.
Definitely,
Yeah, I
it shouldn't
think
have
it's
to.
crazy too.
Like it shouldn't have to come to that to hire someone that's black. Like let's be honest. That just shows you, especially in the NFL. I feel like
My whole thing is you hire nothing but, let's just be honest, predominantly white coaches and GMs, but the sport is dominated 70-80% by African Americans. So it's just like you don't have people that can honestly relate to these players on a real level thing that they go through as a black man. Let's just keep it a buck. So it's just like I feel like there's a disconnect right there that needs to be addressed, and once it is, you'll kind of see the NFL start to flourish in a whole nother way.
What about you, Kev? What about you, Shad? What are you guys thinking about this?
Go ahead, kid. You start off.
Uh, I can understand the diversity aspect because they know it's a problem. We know it's a problem with like y'all mentioned about so many people in the NFL are African Americans, and we have maybe 3 or 4 coaches, 3 to 4 executives in higher spots. And I can understand they're trying to fix the problem, but this is a bad way to go about it. I mean, basically you're saying you pick this guy, we give you an extra player. Like I can understand them trying to fix it, but that's not the way to go.
Yeah, I don't like it either, man. Just because it's like you're using people as a prop. Like, oh, I'm gonna go purposely go hire this person just to get a higher pick.
mm-hmm.
I just feel like you should just, when you interview people, always just take the best person for the job versus now they're trying to put in stuff to basically be a prop to get a third round pick. That's just like the results should be based upon what happens on the field, not what you do in your locker room. So if you go 4-12, you're just 4-12, you get that pick in whatever round. But just to say, oh well, since you guys hired 2 black people or 2 minority people, you can get a better pick. I think that's not cool.
That's wrong at all. Yeah, that's like not. It's not. They have no morals type shit. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it could have like a lot of greedy decision making behind it. I mean, like it's like looking at it from the perspective of a white man too. It's like you just feel awkward, like even hearing the idea. Like in
Mhm.
all honesty, like it's just something that shouldn't even happen.
I could agree with that for sure. But yeah, let's kick it on to something more positive. Predictions: Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and MVP. Your boy Lamar gonna do it again, Trill?
In all honesty, I don't think so, and I don't want him to. Like, just being a Raven fan and seeing how things go, I don't MVPs ain't what he's going after.
Mm-hmm.
He's more about just winning, and he wants a Super Bowl. And
That's why I feel like because he already got that MVP, he's gonna go much harder. Like he's going
he
to
just
ball.
gotta play smarter now, bruh.
Less rushing yards, but he's gonna start throwing the ball like a lot more. That's what I think.
But just jumping off into my predictions, I mean, offensive rookie of the year is real easy for me. It's 3 people. 3 names that I think everyone should know about: Jerry Jeudy, DeAndre Swift, and Cam Akers. I feel like these are all going to be day one players in the NFL if the NFL starts up on time, how it's looking like right now. And they're all going to be great, forget fantasy players, but just great players. Swift and Cam Akers can be 1,000-yard backs, and Jerry Jeudy can easily be a 1,000-yard receiver on the other side of Cam Sutton. Or Cortland Sutton, my bad. So, offensive rookie of the year, I lock it up to those 3. Other than that, there's no names that stand out to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking CeeDee Lamb or any of those other great receivers or running backs. It's just there's a lot more around them. And I feel like in the places that those 3 players are that I named, they're going to be getting a lot more looks. They're basically second and third options already.
But don't you think CD gonna ball? Because he's gonna be the third receiver.
It'll be weird.
Dak is gonna throw.
Oh, yeah. Especially if he gets his contract, because you got to prove it now. So it's going to be real interesting. Defensive rookie of the year, I got 2 people. It's either Patrick Queen or Chase Young. Like, what are we really talking about? Chase Young is going to come to Washington and tear everything up in front of him. I think that's why they traded Trent Williams, so he don't have to go against him in practice, because it's going to be terrifying.
Yeah, mine are very similar. I got Jerry Jeudy and I got Chase Young as well. I think Chase Young is in a good predicament right now. I think he's in a good situation where he could really just come in and command this defense to where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like a leader at heart, so I mean I just think he's gonna come on in there and just really take everything by storm.
For me, offensive rookie of the year, I got Jonathan Taylor. I just got this gut feeling that Marlon Mack is gonna fry himself again, and Taylor's gonna take off. They got a top 2 offensive line right next to Dallas. Jonathan Taylor could take off. He's a sleeper in fantasy as well. Number 2 for me, I don't know what, bro. He's dangerous. It's literally a miniature Tyreek, and that's Henry Ruggs. 40 receptions and over 700 yards. That boy is a killer. He fast. He's fast. Who does that else? Tyreek Hill, what did he do? But Henry Ruggs could do that for sure. People are sleeping on him. And number 3 for me, I think the biggest sleeper, just like Kamara went crazy in fantasy and Devontae Freeman went crazy in fantasy, and that's Clyde Edwards. Mahomes got a running back. In
just
that
gonna dump it
offense,
off to
Andy
him.
Reid compared him to Brian Westbrook.
I just want those catches in a PPR league. Yo, he's gonna
That's
go crazy.
insane.
Yeah, Andy
He said
Reid.
he said he thinks he's better than him,
Yeah, he compared
and
him
that's
to him.
something. Kevin Schott.
I'm gonna go with the number 1 pick, the Bayou Bengal. Joe Burrow.
Okay.
It just when you talk about circumstances like Judy on the Broncos, he has to worry about a Cortland Sutton. He has to worry about a Melvin Gordon taking from his shine. But we talk about a war that's predicated around the quarterbacks. I mean, just in general for offense, because they touch the ball so much. Saquon won 2 years ago. That's because Baker came in. He didn't start right away, and Joe Burrow is giving the reins from the get go. So it's going to be kind of hard for these position guys to beat out Joe Burrow. And even if he has a solid year, Kyler Murray had a solid year and he still won. So it's going to be a lot to beat out a quarterback.
I feel like Joe Burrow, if he really has no leeway as far, or I'm sorry, not leeway, but if he's able to just take the reins and go with it, I think he could throw over 3,500 yards.
He's gonna ball because he fucks with Star Wars. His whole room is like Star Wars. Shout out to Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
He's fire. I
almost
want
wanted
to see him
pick
when he plays the Steelers and the Ravens, because I feel like he got it. But there's gonna be some tough games.
He's
Alright.
different. I will say that.
Yeah, and then who do you got for defensive?
I'm going Chase Young, most likely as the number 1 guy. You got to think of Nick Bosa last year when he had that great D line with him. He was able to just rack off, and Chase Young will have a great D line next to him as well. 2 of the guys I think have a good shot. And it's Jordan Brooks in Seattle. We're talking about a roster. Seattle really doesn't have that many great pieces on defense outside of Bobby. And maybe the twin brothers, the Griffin brothers. But this guy, he's going to be a linebacker, going to be all over the field. speedy linebacker, so help them out. And then Antoine Winfield Jr. Going to Tampa Bay. He's Todd Bowles' honey badger when he had him in Arizona. So I feel like he had the opportunity to be a great piece early.
I didn't even think about Antoine Winfield Jr., but I mean, when you come from NFL pedigree, I think you come in you see the game a little differently, bro, than a lot of these other rookies.
Sure. Shad?
I'm gonna go with either Joe Burrow, Jerry Jeudy, or Henry Ruggs for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Joe Burrow for all the reasons Kels just listed. Jerry Jeudy because he won't be able to get doubled playing with Sutton on the other side, Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon, Phil Lindsay. So I think Jeudy could be a contender. And I put Ruggs as a dark horse just because he will be highly featured in that offense. But I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Joe Burrow as the winner just because, like Kev said, the quarterback, he's going to start from day one. He'll get a chance to put up 35 to 4,000 yards because they're either going to be passing the ball to, come from behind in games, or if they're ahead, it's because he's having a good game with 2 or 3 touchdown passes to A.J. Green, to Tyler Boyd, to John Ross, to Higgins. So kind of like the guys that it'll be almost an LSU style offense. So he'll get a chance to put up a bunch of numbers and stuff like that. So I'm going to go with Joe Burrow for offensive. And then for defensive, I think it's between Chase Young and Isaiah Simmons, just because on the Cardinals, Simmons, he'll get a chance to make a lot of plays, a lot of tackles. So I think he'll be a contender for that, unless they start doubling him. But then, it's like, all right, well, he can't get any sacks or tackles then. But because of his situation, defensive-minded head coach, and they have a pretty good defense, I'm going to go Chase Young as well. I think I think he's the favorite, betting-wise right now. I think he's like plus 200, plus 250, something like that. He's the favorite. So I would go with Chase Young. That's the safe money, and I think Joe Burrow's the safe money as well.
I forgot to answer my defensive player of the year ones, but I got the same ones as you. Isaiah Simmons, when you show me this guy, Trill, he could play corner, linebacker, safety.
Everything on
everywhere.
The field, bro. You just be like, go play.
Just like he could do anything. I feel like he just gonna put up some crazy ass numbers. And I wrote a couple months ago that I think the Cardinals are gonna do better than the Rams this year. I think the Cardinals are gonna be super exciting to watch.
Yo, DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray, that sounds crazy.
Still got Larry.
Larry
Kenyon Drake
be
is gonna
like,
go stupid.
Yeah, I could do this. Larry might not retire this year, honestly. He gonna come back.
Wasn't their first round pick too an offensive tackle? I think they got like a new tackle too, if I'm not mistaken. I think.
Beats me.
Even if you just gotta protect Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Like honestly, you've seen what the kid can do with little to no protection. So it's just like if you build a wall around him, he can throw for 4,000, 5,000 yards. He's got all the capabilities to do so.
MVP, I'm going to start it off. Lamar's going to repeat. Or Russell Wilson. I think it's about time he's going to get an MVP and get some recognition over there.
Russell Wilson
Seattle
has never gotten an MVP
He's coming.
vote in his whole career.
He goes crazy.
Future's
He's that
toxicity
team.
has reached new heights.
So even the voters, they listen to Future on the low?
Yep.
Damn,
They're high off life.
that's crazy. Shot and Kev?
And I'm going with Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
I think a lot of people want to give Bill O'Brien all this slack, but since Deshaun Watson has been there, he hasn't struggled winning games. So they're going to be in the playoffs. I think when you have a good coach, you have a great quarterback. That's all you really need, and especially in the AFC South. So I'm gonna go to Deshaun Watson, and I think it's gonna be crazy because he lost D-Hop, but he got all these other guys, and if he's who we think he is, then he's gonna put them guys above, and they're gonna make playoffs, and he's gonna be MVP.
No, for sure. What do you think about David Johnson over there? You think he's going to thrive?
If healthy. Because you think about last year, Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. Carlos was more for the run.
Is
Duke
Lamar
Johnson for the
Miller
pass.
still there?
He fried himself.
Now Lamar's a free agent now.
Yeah, he got released.
So it's David Johnson's show, and then you got Duke Johnson behind him. So if David Johnson's healthy, he can be fine.
Mm-hmm. Shad?
Man, if David Johnson is healthy, that'll be a fancy football steal for an RB2. Because
In
because
some
like
mocks,
people
I
not
was taking him as a flex most of the time because people are just like,
yeah
you're not taking him.
yeah people kind of out on it, man. Like people sleeping on DJ, but he'll be a good RB2 or like you said, a flex in a fantasy league. But for MVP, I'm going off the radar. I believe in the hype. I'm going Dak Prescott, man. You're gonna have
Ooh.
Amari Cooper, Amari
Cowboys.
Page. I mean, you got CeeDee Lamb coming in. You got Gallup coming in. That offense can support 3 receivers because just this past year, Cooper and Gallup were close in targets. And then Randall Cobb, I think he was probably about 15 to 20 behind those guys. No more than 25 in targets. So that offense can support all 3 guys. Then you have Zeke out of the backfield. The offensive line is still loaded. I think it's Dak's show. I think he's going to be on that Joe Flacco 2012 where he's just going to dominate the league. Cowboys 11, probably like 10, 11 wins with a new head coach, and he'll get his money like Joe Flacco did. Now, what he does after that, that could be Flacco. That could be Flacco. That could be Flacco S2. But I think for this 1 year, he has something to prove. I think he'll catch lightning in a bottle and. He'll have a great season and could be the MVP. Plus, you got that Cowboy fan base. They're the biggest brand in football. If he even has a remotely good year, he's going to be at least in the top 3 or top 4 finish.
That's true. I hate the Cowboys.
I mean, my answers basically are like, the generic ones, but I got good reasons for them. And it's either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, shit.
Tom Brady's
You're
got.
not even gonna say Lamar?
I don't think so.
Tom Brady?
Yeah, Tom Brady, just for the simple fact, and he's got 2,000-yard receivers, and he's got hella tight ends that can actually run routes and get open, and he's going to be like, yeah, I could do this. I could throw 10-yard passes and not really have to try because I have a 6'5" receiver over here and another 6'2" receiver over here.
The 24/7 champion.
Gronkowski, that boy was in WWE. He jumped on like 5 people and won the belt in WrestleMania.
5, he jumped on like 12 people.
Jesus Christ.
So it's just like, I feel like he's set up to have a great year. And it's almost to the same way of what he just said with Dak. If he has even a remotely good year, Tom Brady's going to get pushed for MVP. It's just that simple.
And if the Bucks come out and go like 12-4 or some shit like that.
It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
12-4, you could just give it to him off of that. At the age of 43, 42, bruh, it's over. What are we talking about?
Hey, look at their schedule, man. Like they could probably start off like 7-2.
And if he starts off like that,
Who they playing?
Man, it's almost a cakewalk. Like they would be the
Don't they
favorite
have
in
one
every
of the
game
easiest schedules
except
this
for
year?
2.
He knew what
I
he was
think,
doing. He
like-
checked that shit out. He was like, ooh, he got the source. Ooh, they're
Like-
playing these teams? I'm out.
I wouldn't say it's an easy schedule because you got the Saints twice, you got the Chiefs, you got Green Bay. Like it's a pretty tough schedule, but like how their matchups are set up, far
Mhm.
as like they're gonna be either at home or playing inside against so many teams, so you won't really be facing the elements of rain or snow like a whole lot of the time. So I think they'll be fine. I think they can probably start off like 6-3, 7-2, and then if you just split the back half of your schedule, get to about 12-4. You're probably contending with the Saints for the division, and if Brady has the numbers, it could be an MVP season.
and Mahomes just got to be healthy. It's just that simple. Like, we saw Super Bowl MVP last game that everyone saw, and healthy, he's got all the targets. They keep adding stuff. He's got a running back now.
That running back gonna feast.
He
Some of
said
them
he
screens.
just learned how to read defenses halfway through last year. So we don't think he's going to be remotely close to what he did the first year, 50-10. He just got to be healthy, that's all.
Yeah.
Because he's scary, honestly. Like, even when every time he plays the Ravens, I'm just like, yo, he going to score 30.
Yeah.
Like, it's regardless. He going to score 30, bruh.
My 2 picks are Lamar, Patrick, honestly. I think it's going to be them 2 at it again. But I'm hoping for Lamar to pull it off.
Always
Back
root for
to back?
Broward.
Yeah, I'm always going to root for
Broward
Broward.
County, rise up.
I got a question for you guys. Like, the MVP is always like a narrative-driven award. So, like, with the season Lamar had, any type of pullback, I don't think he can get it. Do y'all think he still can get it? And then for, like, Mahomes, will it be the LeBron effect of if he's not doing, like, record-breaking numbers, will he get it? Will it just go to somebody else because of their better storyline?
I mean, yeah, narrative definitely always plays an effect on it. So, I mean, at that point, you could almost say it could be anybody going up for MVP if you want to go based off of the narrative side of things. But if we're solely going based off of, what we believe from statistics and what we've seen in the past, I can only see growth from those two. They're still young as shit. So I'm going to go with
They
them.
base off that NFL MVP award put up by the wins of the team, then the stats. Literally, if you put up the good stats, and then the storyline comes last, but it's like that plays such a big factor, especially with Lamar. First year starting, he
Yeah.
goes 36-6, 1,000 rushing yards, 4,000 passing yards.
Nah, he ain't do
And look at the
4,000.
team
He
around
had
him
close to
now.
it, correct?
The team around him
3,100.
now is disgusting.
Where'd they go? 14-2. You went
Yeah.
14-2, right?
14-2.
So of
bruh.
course that's gonna play, and especially if I feel like Patrick Mahomes, because he got injured and then he came back in the Super Bowl, this and that. If he comes back and just goes crazy, just the little storyline of like, oh, is he the next one, like the next great NFL player of all time?
I think it could almost take another twist, and they could be setting up the AFC for the next 10 years. And you have your new Brady and Manning with Lamar and Mahomes, and they just keep going at it. Because I don't see why the NFL wouldn't support that. Those are the two last MVPs. They're basically the faces of the NFL right now. Why wouldn't you do that? Just my opinion.
Does the Madden curse hit Lamar?
I mean, you can't
Madden
really
curse
say.
is real.
Nah, I can't say it's real if Mahomes
Did it-
wins
I
the
was
Super
gonna
Bowl.
say, yeah, he won the Super Bowl.
Mahomes got lucky that the trainer knew what to do. But that kneecap was on the
That
other
Madden
side.
curse
He got
is
lucky.
real.
Didn't Brady win on when he was on the cover too, or no? He didn't win.
They be getting hurt. Someone put voodoo on that game. As soon as they take that picture, it's done.
Nah, not no more. The Madden curse got broken.
I guess you
I
can look
don't
at
know.
it as it were hurting because he did get hurt, and every year they get hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt to some degree, but it wasn't like as bad as it usually was.
It could have been. That's the crazy thing. So he might have did break it, because there was a chances he could have missed the whole season if it fell a different way.
Ain't no Madden curse, bro. It's broke. Don't even think about that. Positive energy, Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar gonna do
Lamar
just
Jackson
fine.
for president. That's how I feel right now.
Broward
bro.
County. That's it.
All right, let's bring it on to basketball. It's reported that they're going to talk about it in 2 to 4 weeks if the season comes back. All the great players were on Zoom. Kawhi was even there. Kawhi, Curry, LeBron, Harden, Giannis, just random. Bro, Kawhi's probably in the corner not talking,
He was laughing at a point.
not saying anything, just laughing. He had thoughts in his head. He's like, I'm going to beat you guys. He's just laughing to himself. But what you guys think about it? Basketball might be back. And there's also probably not. It's going to be in Disney or Vegas. No fans. Fuck the fans. We go watch from home. It's all good.
I
just
want
wanna
to
see
them do
basketball.
that out of Disney.
I don't
honestly.
care if there's nobody but like the coaches and just the cameramen and stuff. Let me just watch basketball. It's still going to be fire.
Hey, to the Kawhi point, Chris Haynes said Kawhi was pretty vocal on it, man. I'm not sure what he was saying, but he said Chris Haynes I think he's from Yahoo Sports. He was saying Kawhi was pretty vocal on the
This
call.
man show almost
I
spit
know
his
what
water.
I know what Kawhi was saying. Kawhi was saying he's like, I don't do anything else with my life. I need to play basketball. I've been just sitting in this room. I haven't even
Recharging
eaten.
his batteries.
I haven't even eaten in the last 84 days. Like, please, like, I need some help. I need something to do. I gotta play basketball.
I think it's to a point where it's so many things that come into consideration right now that I don't think the average fan is thinking about. And it's like, if they're going to talk about it in 2 to 4 weeks, that means probably, if we being honest with ourselves, the earliest it could start is mid-June or probably 4th of July.
No, I was gonna say
That's
more
no
like
problem.
August or September.
That's no problem.
Bro, even work, if it starts in August or September, then you have to do this tournament style thing at that point. And basically, you would have to play all these games, like he said, in Disney World or Las Vegas. And
On some
it would go a
NCAA
lot,
tournament shit that the people that are watching are the other teams, basically.
and you would just have to go a lot quicker because there's no traveling. Bruh, where are you going? You go home to the hotel. That's it. You don't have to catch no flights. So I'm just like, that's something that needs to be taken into consideration because you don't know how quick or how long this could go. People could think it might start up, like I said, maybe mid-June, but if you bring up August or September, then, bro, that's 2 to 3 months difference, and that means next year's NBA season is in big jeopardy. That Christmas Day timeline is looking more and more realistic.
I feel like that's fire. Imagine playing on Christmas. What you guys think about it?
I mean, they're going to come back at some point. I mean, we saw soccer just getting kicked off today with a bunch of games. So if soccer can play, basketball can because they're both right on top of each other type of sports. But I mean, like you said, it all depends on what time they start. June is fine. You just need to get them about 2 to 3 weeks of games, and let's go into the playoffs and let's go ahead and knock it out. I mean, we don't have to do game sevens no more. I mean, we were all watching The Last Dance. We saw most of their series were going to 5, so we can go back to that just for this season or something because, like you said, you can't run the time out because of the next season. So you still got the NBA draft. You still got all these different components for agency, all that stuff. So the timeline has to be at a good time because, like you mentioned, you can't start in October or end in October and think we can start the season up right away.
It needs to be off season.
No, I'm going the opposite way, man. Like I think they're gonna decide something by at least mid-June, and then what they'll do is they'll give teams 2 to 3 weeks of like a training camp to get back ready. Like they're gonna say regular season's over, 2 to 3 weeks of training camp for teams in the playoffs, and then from July to August that'll be the playoffs because normally it starts like mid-April, lasts all of May, and goes into the 1st of June for the finals, which is roughly 7 to 8 weeks. So if you do a 2 to 3 week training camp starting like mid-June, that may wrap up first week of July, and then you can kind of go the rest of July and August for the playoffs because you can't go into September because the NFL and college football are planning on coming back in September. So you're not going to step on those two sports because ratings-wise, football will wipe out the finals. I don't care if LeBron is in the finals. I don't care if Giannis is there. I don't care who's in the finals. Boston Celtics, but I don't care what NBA brand is there. College football and the NFL will wipe out the NBA ratings-wise. So the NBA has to be done by at least Labor Day weekend because of the NFL and college football. And I think that'll kind of spur into they'll do a new CBA, which will start altering how we watch basketball from the next couple of years, pretty much.
No, I can see that because college football, when that gets back, those parlay bets are going to go crazy. And then for football, week 1, you ready to see what your fantasy team's about. Let's be honest. Besides watching your favorite team, you're just like, ooh, these are the guys I drafted. 13-0. Championship is coming.
I just find it like the more I think about it, the timeline with everything that's going on, and like you guys just said, I didn't even think about Labor Day weekend and colliding with the other sports. But when you run into that fact, you got to make a decision faster. But I feel like if you do this decision of just canceling the rest of the regular season, you'll run into a problem as well because you have teams that are 2 and 3 games back, and they can make that up in this time. But if you don't allow them to do that, I feel like you can deal with some different type of grievances that aren't going to be related to the real issue here. And that'll just set the NBA up for just more problems in the future, honestly. And that's the one thing that they don't want right now. You want to find the easiest and best solution to it all, but there isn't one, honestly.
What do you think those teams are going to do?
Bruh, if you, just off the top of my head, Pelicans 2 to 3 games back at the 8th seed. If you don't allow them to compete for that.
What do you think? What do you think they're going to try to do?
I mean, just formal terms, it would be filing a grievance, I would think, or a complaint basically against the league. You're not allowed to basically compete. And that's something you should be allowed to do at the end of the day. You weren't allowed to play the rest of the whole regular season. And at that time, season ended. But let's just say if the season did go on, no one knows what would have happened. And you took that opportunity away at the end of the day. That's all I think.
Well, I don't see that happen just because everybody's affected by it. Like, everybody's affected by the COVID. Like, everybody's season got shut down. Like, it did indirectly affect one team more than the other. So I think, it wouldn't result in like a grievance type of situation that like that. It'll just be everybody was in the same situation. So, you really can't overreact to it when it kind of affected everybody. That's just me.
I feel that.
What about you, Ken?
I prefer the the season to probably stop because I got these Vegas bets and right now I'm winning. So from that standpoint, let's just go right into the playoffs so I can get my money.
Nah, for sure. And what do you guys? If it does come back, hopefully it does come back. What do you think? Is the outcome? Who's in the finals? Who's winning it all? Finals MVP. Just put it out there. We don't know, but put it out in the air.
I'm gonna go a team from LA versus the Bucks.
Team from LA. Who's winning? Or does it determine what team from LA?
A team from LA. So that'd be the champion. So it'll be either Finals MVP will either be LeBron, Kawhi, or Davis.
And you think, dang, so yeah, where does that put Davis if that happens? If he were to get the Finals MVP over LeBron, but LeBron still gets number 4, what that shit's gonna go crazy. The stand accounts are gonna go crazy on LeBron. Oh, he doesn't have Anthony Davis, this and that. He's the best player on the team. All that shit, but it's possible because AD is that special.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Davis, man, he get a lot of bad rap because he was in New Orleans. So I don't understand that whole point, that whole hating on him. He's not one of the best guys in the league. He is. He's a big man, so you can't really name a big man who didn't have a good guard with him to win. So not having LeBron James, so you see what happens. He's up there, same stats he had in New Orleans. Now he's one of the best players in the league. Everybody looking at him because he's on LA. So if he was to get the Finals MVP over LeBron, I mean that's just putting on his resume, and that's making him compete for the second best power forward of all time. And if he add more rings and have the longevity, then he has the potential. He probably won't do it, but at age 26 right now,
he's that special. He really could go down as the best power forward, but it's gonna take a while to catch Timmy.
Right.
Now he got to play on LA for another 16 years. Go crazy.
if he, to me, like he don't need to have the 5 rings like Tim Duncan got. As long as he's getting 3 rings, or if he get like 2 without LeBron and stuff like that, then we talked about it on our show about like overvaluing the rings and stuff like that. And you look at Tim Duncan's like last ring. I mean, was he really the Tim Duncan, or was he just on the mountain going down while he still got a Kawhi Leonard? He got it, the best coach in basketball. So you got to look at that differently. You can't just say, well, Tim got 5, Davis only got 2 or 3, so he can't be better than him. You just got to look at, okay, when he did win, how good was he? So as long as all those come to fact, he got a chance. But if he wins this Finals MVP, he definitely could be second best.
Honestly,
I'm going. Go ahead, bro.
All right. So I got the Bucks. Sadly, I mean, I just feel like at the end of the day, you can't really stop Giannis, and he's just getting more and more confident in the jump shot. So they're just gonna be a problem. But if I'm going to just be spot on with it, I got the Lakers coming out of the West the more I think about it, just for the fact but if they go big, you can put LeBron at the 3, AD at the 4, Dwight Howard at the 5. That's terrifying because LeBron not really playing the 3. He's still the point guard. So they just
Caruso,
basically got
Caruso in there?
Not even,
like 6'5", bro. He just be moving.
Bro, they just gonna run a whole bunch of forwards at people, and it's like you can't beat that, bro. They really playing positionless basketball over there. It's terrifying, and they're gonna be the biggest problem that Giannis has ever seen. It's gonna be, I think, 2 to 3 times worse than what Toronto did last year. There's gonna be a wall in front of that rim like you've never seen before.
Well, what happens if that were to happen? And it's kind of like with LeBron in 2007 when he just ran into a brick wall. You think that's gonna happen to Giannis? Because I feel like he's going to be that next great player.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And this could be exactly what it is. It's that he just ran into a team, and he was just the best player at this time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't beat it. You just got to deal with it and, take your licks and keep it moving. But I don't see any other teams. I mean, Boston, they're good, but
too young, in my opinion, just as a team.
They just got to get it right. I feel like if they get their roles right and they realize who's the number 1 option, who's the number 2 option, and who's 3, they can maybe do something.
I love Kemba, but he got to realize.
Yeah, he got to take a step back, Brad. If you don't give the reins over to Jason Tatum, you insane. Kemba could be your second option and Jalen could be 3, or, vice versa. But that Boston team's got to get those roles right before I feel like they can take that next step. And Philly is just done.
Oh, they fried.
I just don't think it works, honestly. Like, they got great players, like Ben Simmons, top 10 player, arguably, but it's just a lot of other things right now.
No.
No what?
Ben Simmons top 10. No.
Hey. I
Where
hear
you
some other
guys got
people.
Ben Simmons right now in the NBA players?
Top 20.
Yeah, I'd say he's more top 20. He's definitely not top
And
10.
with,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
add a jump shot?
Exactly. I'm like,
He can work his way.
literally a jump shot, the man becomes from 20 to 8.
Yeah,
Take
but
a
he
jump
don't
for
got
real.
that.
He just need confidence. He could shoot. Everybody could shoot a basketball.
Nah, I got the Lakers. LeBron get one more. What's the argument now? How much does LeBron have to get to like everyone realizes, even like the big ass Jordan fans, that it's
14
like
rings.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he got to be winning like on
You
some.
gonna play like the Undertaker?
gotta
Just signed a
become the
15
owner.
year.
Nah,
oh,
he
LeBron
just-
gonna be owner coach. He
Yeah,
player,
on some
all
Bill
that.
Russell stuff.
You know, they're gonna bring Undertaker out on a fucking respirator and an iron lung.
He signed 15 more years. He's like 58.
They're gonna kill him in the ring.
I think in that contract,
WrestleMania 52, buried alive match. Then he's gonna be like,
And they're actually gonna bring out his real casket with his actual, dead body, and they're gonna bury him.
I think Vince in the contract wrote up that he's gonna pay for his funeral when it's all
Yeah,
over.
100%.
Because it's just
"Man, you
like,
make me
bruh,
so much money. Just I
you're,
got you.
you're pushing this man further and further
It-
to death each year.
it's-
I'm sorry. There's
It's
no other
ironic
way.
because it's like his character is like, a soul snatcher, but like Vince McMahon owns the Undertaker pretty much for the remainder of his life.
He's like, just show up once a year, give it your all, break a bone or two.
Walk down to the ring for the next 17
He
minutes.
his back is fried when he tries to choke slam someone. He can't do it anymore. He'd be slipping. He has to catch the guy midair with his backhand, because if not, the guy gonna fall and just fry himself.
Yeah, dude barely walking around. They might have to go ahead and let. I don't think he wants to retire just because, wrestling is one of those sports where you can do it forever. So,
No,
even though he's
no, it's not.
like,
no,
Oh, you
I,
think
yo,
take it
Man,
from
you
me,
can do it
man.
forever.
No, you
can do it
cannot.
forever.
like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
you
man,
cannot.
this man Imano is the biggest wrestling fan I know
You
on
cannot
the
do
south
that
side of the
forever.
United States.
like
He
it's
knows it all.
it's a work. It's a work. So you can do it forever.
You
just
tell
can't-
me a 70 or 80-year-old that could get back in that ring. and
Ric
actually
Flair.
do it.
Ric Flair was
Ric
wrestling
Flair
at
thinks he
63.
can. Ric Flair knows that he'll have a heart attack the
WrestleMania
moment he
21
takes a
in the
bump.
Money in the Bank match, he was like 63. They threw him off a ladder.
He
He
dislocated
went to the
his
back.
knee and he came back.
He
and he came back. But he was like 50 something there. I'm talking about
That's
like
still cr-
Undertaker just signed a 15-year deal and this guy's already in his 50s. So you're telling me he's gonna wrestle into his 70s?
The entrance is gonna take longer than the match. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
It already does.
Yeah. It's like for example, let's say a guy like the Miz who his whole career been about talking, right? He can go till he about 85. All he gotta do is talk trash, and then all he gotta do is get slammed one time, and he done. So he loses.
Check him out
So
real
you can
quick.
go. Yeah, it all depends on who it is. Undertaker don't talk too much, so yeah. So his interest is what's gonna keep him around.
He used to be
people.
fired with it on
You
the
come
mic.
down
Now
there.
he says some like, he's like, what are you saying? Like, he's saying one word and it seems
sounds
like
like
he
he could
forgets what
barely
he's saying
breathe.
and then continues again.
But like with a 15-year deal, man, that could encompass anything. That could be being a backstage agent. That could just be keeping the character around for like appearances overseas. Because when they do all those things in Saudi Arabia, all that kind of stuff, a lot of people over there haven't really saw
Mhm.
the
Right.
Undertaker, all these kind of guys. So that could just be just for marketing and maybe a backstage agent role and stuff like that. So I
It's
think
gonna
it's
be
more.
like, hey,
It's
Taker,
more along those
come-
lines.
Come choke slam this guy, you get 100K. Okay? The entrance, go choke slam him. He gonna do that every time.
It's to a point where I think in that last match, Vince is gonna have to wheel him out of the ring in a wheelchair. Cause bruh, there's no other way I see him going out not in the ring. Like I don't just see him fading off into the distance.
Has
These
he ever
next
been
few-
thrown off a Hell in a Cell? His body is probably fried.
I'm sure he has.
Nah, they wouldn't do that now.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm just saying in the past, like all that build up, like he's fried. The
If
amount of
they
matches,
threw
the
him-
amount of type of matches he's gone through in his career.
I need you to understand if they threw him off a Hell in a Cell,
He'd be dead
people
right
would,
now.
people would boycott the WWE. I need you to understand that. His wife would sue Vince McMahon.
I feel like
Michelle
that's what they're
McCool.
aiming
Yeah.
to do at this point. Like, just keep wrestling until something crazy happens, and then I'll sue Vince.
We'll buy WWE, and we'll make him be the Undertaker.
And then Vince McMahon will turn into the Undertaker. Undertaker will then become Vince McMahon. Boom. What else we got on the board today?
This is my favorite
I'm
one.
gonna drop my final prediction real quick. I think it's gonna be Kawhi
Oh, I
with
forgot.
the,
we were still
with
talking
the
about the
title,
final.
man.
You think it's
Yeah,
gonna be Kawhi?
I think it's gonna be Kawhi for the Finals MVP because Clippers are rested. So like during the season, Paul George was kind of struggling, but now he's had more time to recover from his surgery and all that kind of stuff. And their bench is just deeper than the Lakers. So I'm gonna go Clippers out of the West. And just based on history, like look at the last 30 years, normally the best player comes out of the East. There are only like 5 outliers in there. So I'll take the Bucks in the finals against the Clippers, and I think Clippers are winning in like 6 with Kawhi Finals MVP.
I'm going with LeBron James, the Lakers with AD. Come on, I don't want. It's just LeBron. You can't bet against LeBron, even though he does lose quite often. But it's the team that's around him. Now you give him Anthony Davis. Kuzma just got it shaping up. Dwight Howard is fire. I don't know why people discredit Dwight Howard. I know he grew his hair out. He's not Dwight Howard from Orlando, but he could still play. They still got JaVale McGee, I believe. I'm going with the Lakers on this one.
All right. So what's your favorite
Most
subject
experience,
now?
8 times to the finals in a row. You got that experience. Oh, no, this next subject is the best one. It's top 5 duos to never win a championship. We could start from 5. Who want to go first? You guys could go first, Shot and Kev.
Yeah,
All
so-
right. Let's see. Do I really have an order? All right. So I have my number 1. The other 4, you can put where you want to put it at.
Mm-hmm.
For one of mine, I put Chris Paul and Lakers. To never win. I mean, the 6 years they were together, they made the playoffs 6 times, but of course injury derailed their success in the playoffs. Whether it was Blake go down or Chris Paul go down, both of them made out of those 6 years. Chris Paul made the All-Star team 5 times, and Blake Griffin's 4. So you're talking about they were one of the best players individually in the game, not only together. And then they went through 2 head coaches with Doc Rivers, and I think they had Benny Del Negro to start it off. So they had 2 coaches and still made the playoffs all 6 times. So I think it's pretty impressive. My number 4, I went T-Mac and Yao Ming. Another team that they was together for 5 years, made the playoffs 4 times. Another duo that injury derailed them. I think they had like maybe 3 to 4 first round exits. T-Mac never been out of the first round as a star player. So I like those 2 together. I mean, Yao Ming and T-Mac, man, they had a lot of great moments during their run. They just couldn't get past the upper echelon teams, the Spurs. Come to mind. You got the Suns during that time as well. But another one I had Chris Webber and Pedro Stojakovic. I think they get lost in the shuffle. That Kings team from the early 2000s, just because they couldn't beat Kobe and Shaq, they couldn't beat Tim Duncan. So it was kind of like the greats were in the way of their success. But they made the playoffs all 6 times they were together, and they even made the Western Conference Finals. So you talk about 2 guys who were scoring about 20 points a game. Pedro Stojakovic is one of the best marksmanships to ever play the game. Chris Webber, he's probably a top 10 power forward right now. Guy he was dominant when he was in Golden State, and then got to Sacramento. He was dominant there as well. And then another one, Nash and Stoudemire. I'm not one of the biggest Nash fans, but those 2 together, I mean, they made the playoffs 5 out of 6 years they were together, 3 Western Conference Finals trips, and like I said about the same way for the Kings and Clippers, and even the Rockets, they had too many greats in their way. Kobe, Tim Duncan, and the Warriors, Curry and KD were all in those guys' way in the West. And then to top it all off, another all-time great who stood in their way. Of course, I think everybody number 1 probably John Stockton and Karl Malone. So at least when it comes down to it, my top 5, they all couldn't beat a great all-time great. So you can't really get too mad at them for that.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy I feel like with everyone's top 5, like they either got stopped by someone or injuries, like fried. Remember Amari Stoudemire when he got to the Knicks 1 good year, and then he had like 6 surgeries on his knees in the past in a 2-year span. Fried himself. What you got, Shad?
Number 5, I went Shaq and Penny. They played together for 3 years. During those 3 years, Penny averaged 19 and 7, 2 steals. Shaq averaged 28 and 12, 2.5 blocks. They made the playoffs all 3 years. They made the Eastern Conference Finals twice. They made the '95 Finals. Shaq was second in MVP that year. They had 2 50-win seasons and 1 60-win season. And both guys were all NBA in '95 and '96. And Penny finished third in MVP in '96 because Shaq missed like 28 games. So I think they're number 5. You know, to make one finals, they got swept, but they were up big in that game 1 against Houston. So, you know, they were close that year to actually get there, and then the second year to get swept by Mike and the Bulls. So, you know, you can say if Mike never came back, they'd probably get back again. Maybe Shaq stays, all that kind of stuff. So, but to be that close in just 3 years together, man, that's I think they're worth number 5. Number 4, I went old school. I went Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. They had 11 total years together, but when they were both like in their good years, so 10 years, 10 playoff trips, they made seven finals, and of course they lost them all. So
You know what's the crazy thing? Looking at that Celtics roster, I was arguing with my friends about like the top 10 ever because I don't have Bill Russell on my top 10. It's no disrespect. It's just like looking how inflated that. Like I think the 1960-61 roster besides him has 7 Hall of Famers on it. People just going crazy. When Havlicek was there, he was coming off the bench, going 26-5. Like, yeah, let's get this ring. I'm 8-0. Rest in peace.
Yeah, so that's my number 4. Then at number 3, I went Nash and Amari. I mean, they had a good little 6 years together, but of course, 2 of those years, Amari wasn't healthy. He got hurt in 2006 early in the year, and then he also got hurt in 2009. So they only really had like 4 legit healthy years together. And in those years, I mean, they were great. They both made All NBA in 2005, 2007, 2008, and 2010 before Amari went to the Knicks. And like their playoff series, man, like they were close every time. They lost in 05 to the Spurs, who won the title. They lost in 06 to the Mavs, who went on to the finals. I give them a pass for 07 just because that was the year that Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob, checked Nash to the scores table, and guys got suspended. So you can give them a pass for 07. They lost in the second round, but losing in 08 in the first round to the Spurs. 09 they missed the playoffs, and then 2010 they got beat by the Lakers in the West Finals. So, you know, they were close so many times in the West Finals, but they never could get over that hump. Number 2, I had to go Durant and Westbrook. Those guys, you know, Durant won MVP, 4 scoring titles while they were together. So he was in his prime form, and Russ was in his prime Robin form. The year KD went down, 2015, Russ was the scoring champion. So they were dominant when they were together. They made 4 West Finals, 2011, 2012, 2014, 2016. Had the 3-1 lead on the Warriors, but of course we know what happened right there. They made the 2012 Finals, but lost to the Heat and LeBron James. So I think they warrant consideration for number 2. And of course we already know number 1, Malone and Stockton. They played together for 18 years. But for like their prime 10, 11 years, Malone won an MVP. Stockton led the league in assists 9 times, 2-time steal champ. Carl's averaging 27 and 11. Stockton was averaging 15 and 12, 2.5 steals. So, you know, all these duos were in their prime for the most part, and they should have. I think all these guys should at least won 1 title, except for Shaq and Penny because they broke up too soon. But all these guys should at least got 1 title, and in the case of Nash and Amari, they should have made the final at least 1 time.
You know what's the crazy thing? I'm just going to rattle off because I literally have the same exact list. Number 5, Penny and Shaq. I know we've seen all that documentary. What could have been? You would have never seen Kobe and Shaq. It would have been Penny and Shaq. And then if only the Magic didn't want to be cheap and just pay him. What if? That's one of the biggest what ifs ever. And especially after he left, I guess Penny's knees were like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And they just started giving out. That could have been something special. The amount of rings they could have gotten. Imagine Tim Duncan came in 99. Doc Rivers is like, you could bring your family on the plane. Here, slide.
It's too many. It's just too many things to think about.
Number 4 for me, Baylor and West. I don't have them that much high because I've never seen them play. I'm sorry, highlights doesn't justify anything. But 11 times into the playoffs, but all 11 times together, it's just Bill Russell. Like I said, all those Hall of Famers over and over. I know Bill Russell was the glue, but that team was just too deadly. It was literally Baylor and West, and then they had Wilt for a couple years, and look what happened. I think Wilt only has 2, if I'm not mistaken. Number 3, my favorite duo, Amari and Nash. What they could have been in today's NBA, they would have got at least 1 title already. They would be scoring 140 a game, no problem.
That's a bold statement.
100. That offense, and it's like Kev said, they had to go against Dirk, go against Kobe. They beat him 1 year. Got to go against Tim Duncan, baby KD. They just couldn't. They had it, but it was just like Mike D'Antoni got some bad luck.
Terrible luck.
He go everywhere, and he's so close. 1 round away from going against the Heat with the Knicks. Stop, don't laugh. The Rockets, the Suns, he's come up short every single year, bro. I feel bad for him. Number 2 for me, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Kevin Durant is probably, if you want to make a list of skilled basketball players, you might be able to put him like at number 2 or number 1, if I'm keeping it real, just because of what he could do. And I feel like if he never left and went to Golden State, they would have gotten over that hump, and you would have seen LeBron and KD in the finals. But like a real, like, KD's in his prime, he's still in his fucking prime. That would have been a beautiful finals. And Westbrook, people disrespect Russell. I think he's one of the best 25 basketball players by the time he's done, even higher. Over 130 triple-doubles. That speaks for itself. He averaged triple-double back-to-back-to-back years. It just went under the rug. They were like, yeah, he averaging after the first time. They were like, yeah, he's doing it. It's Russell. What do you expect? No problem. 20. He's savage. The number 1 for me, my favorite point guard. And then people hate Karl Malone, but oh well. 18 times together, all 18 times going to the playoffs. They ran into Michael Jordan. They went to the Western Conference Finals 5 times. They were dominant. They had the Bulls, but Michael's Michael. Eat some pizza, get the flu, go crazy.
Okay. I'm kind of going off the top of my head here. Okay? But at number 5, I'm starting with Baron Davis and Jason Richardson.
Shit.
Classic right there.
They deserve credit.
Yeah. Number 4, I'm going with Shaq and Penny. Actually, no. I'm not. As much as I like them, I'm not even going to put them in there because I like.
Wow.
Number 4, I'm putting Amari and Carmelo, honestly. What the fuck, man? They should have won. They should have won something together.
Pacers.
They should have won
That shit
something,
was depressing, man. When Roy Hibbert blocked Melo, I knew it was over. I was so fucking sad.
Then number 3, I'm going to go with Shaq and Penny.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 2, I'm going Nash and Amari now. Okay. And I'm not going to go generic because I'm going off of my favorites here. Okay. And as much as Stockton and Malone are the greatest in the whole duos to never win, number 1 for me, Iverson and Carmelo. Wait, did I already say them?
No, you didn't.
I didn't, right?
You didn't.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
You said Amari and Carmelo.
No, Iverson and Carmelo, number 1.
Nugget days. True.
I mean, honestly, every single person on my list has already been named, so I just got to do it in a variation because that's how it came. You feel me? Number 5, they just got robbed of injuries. Tracy and Yao. I mean, bro, he was 7'6". Like, Shaq had problems with this dude, so I think the whole NBA was having problems with this dude.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, and Kobe was having problems with T-Mac. If T-Mac's knees didn't give out, that would have been your conference finals probably for the next few years, just keeping it 100. But, knees just disappear sometimes. Number 4, a lot of people don't give them credit. I feel like they deserve a lot more after watching this Last Dance final, well, special, whatever you want to call it. Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp are terrifying. Like, the fact that Gary Payton was literally playing 94 feet defense and still had the wherewithal to still be like a top point guard on offense as well. And Shawn Kemp was basically just an old school Zion because I don't see him taking jump shots at all.
Never.
So it's just like, bruh, if it's like that, you got to give him some credit. And if they were down, 3-0, and then came back and made it 3-2, and then Mike was like, all right, let me stop playing with these boys. Still, you got to give them some credit, bruh. And they was in the finals in the first place. They deserve it. Number 3, I mean, everybody loves them. I just think that They're a little hype, honestly. The more I start to think about it, like the stats are great, but Karl Malone and Stockton, the West was good back then. It wasn't like the early 2000s. Because let's be honest, I think they played into '02 or '03, maybe each one of them.
Yeah, Stockton played forever.
Well,
So did Karl Malone.
But I'm just like, they didn't play this prime 2000 basketball shit, is what I'm saying.
Nah,
They didn't have to go
no, They were
against
fried by like.
when the West was, like you said, the Suns.
I
You
think
had
Stockton retired in 04.
the Spurs, the Lakers. You had multiple teams that easily were killing each other in the playoffs each year, and you didn't know who was coming out the West. But back then, I feel like it was really predetermined. You had one or two teams each year who you thought, all right, they're going to be seeing each other in the conference finals, and that's usually how it went. But that's just it. Number 2, Russ and KD. They're the only duo to be 2 MVPs each while they played together. Well, Russ got it after, you understand. But still, they played together, and they each have an MVP. So it's like, yo, they're special. KD, he went on to do his own thing in Golden State and whatnot.
His own thing.
You feel me? But Russ held it down, and we saw what he did. 2020 game, like he said, 3 straight triple-double seasons. What else can you really talk about? People just hate Russ. I don't know why, but if you just watch him play basketball, what is there to hate about him? He just tries hard.
I think he's the best competitor in the NBA. His
Literally,
motor.
he
His
just
motor is
tries
crazy.
hard. That's all I see.
Next to Kawhi, I agree with that.
It's just Kawhi doesn't show it. But
Well, that's why.
but
That's what
Russell,
makes him a great competitor.
They underweight Westbrook. You can make an argument he's like top 5, top 6.
Did you
Yeah.
give your number 1 yet?
Honestly, you stole my number 1 because a lot of people don't know about that team with Iverson and Carmelo.
Oh, I thought they were both gonna get a ring off of that.
Like, bruh, if they don't
Kobe.
run into
we-
Kobe in those conference
Iverson
finals,
saw Kobe again. I was like,
You want to
fuck,
know?
man.
You know what? We want to know what I really wanted to put at number 1. The greatest duo to never win a championship: Chris Paul and Kobe.
Damn.
if that trade doesn't get stopped,
Think about it. That. Should have been. That's like the only trade I think I've ever seen get blocked.
They're beating the Big 3 in Miami.
It would have been possible because what, they would have gotten Dwight Howard too, right?
Yeah,
And they would've had their own Big
Kobe.
Three.
Dwight saw Kobe and he got scared.
But I'm just saying, though, but maybe it may have been different if Chris Paul's in the equation. I think so. There's a medium there, right? You got Kobe, who's an aggressive competitor. You got Dwight Howard, who's kind of like a big goof. Chris Paul's kind of like the medium between the two, to an extent. You never know what could have
Trill's a
happened.
Heat fan. I don't think he's liking this.
I'm a Heat fan too, but you can't tell me that trio would have not given LeBron, Wade, and Bosh some sort of trouble.
Chris Bosh would have worked Dwight Howard ass out on that perimeter, bruh.
It's possible, but I'm just saying what
It's
else
po-
was
it's a
also
fact.
possible.
It's a fact, Jack. But, bruh, that whole list, Iverson, Carmelo, I understand they didn't have as long as run as everyone else, but just off of pure talent, we saw Carmelo go and basically carry the Knicks after he left Denver. We saw what Iverson did before he even got to Denver and Philly, how he carried a team to the finals himself. So it's just like, you had those two together, but they ran into one of the all-time greats. And that's what I take away from this entire list, no matter who anyone named. They ran into some teams that is just like, damn, bruh. I don't think any team could have beat them, honestly. And I feel that about each duo that we named.
Let's keep it a buck. The Warriors series with OKC, KD was like, I'm okay.
Bruh, once they lost Game 6, he didn't even give a damn about Game 7. Because it's like, bruh, it shouldn't have come to this. We was up 3-1 and blew a 3-1 lead before it was cool to do it. So it's just like,
Ain't that some shit?
that's insane, bruh. Last topic of the day, though. Something light.
Top 5 French fries.
I need to hear everyone's
You guys
list.
don't want to talk about The Last Dance real quick? Rundown?
Honestly, it was
Nah.
kind of like a plateau for these last 2 weeks. The thing I want to bring up that I thought was cool is, can you imagine seeing the games that were played at that Space Jam court? How they said like Michael invited all those people over and everything, and it was people like Reggie Miller and like Jawan Howard and all these like young like up and coming stars. And Reggie Miller said some of the best games he ever played in his life were played there. That's the only thing I
Speaking
wanted
about
to
Gary
bring
Payton,
up.
what do you guys think? Do you think if he covers Michael from Game 1 is different?
Yeah,
How different?
because that's somebody who's probably just as defensively aggressive and as a competitor, as Michael.
Mike would have worked his ass out still.
You never know.
Would you
Gary Payton, that's if you want to talk a top tier defender of all time.
understand.
Obviously, Gary Payton's there, so that's why I don't know if he faced a defender of that caliber at that point yet.
What you guys think?
No, same result.
Gary, he said the glove.
I said
I
there's
don't
a,
know- I
I
don't
said
know.
there's a chance. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I'm just saying there's a chance. You never know.
I don't think it's different at all. Mike's just gonna like his
He
brain
just
is
would've
just gonna be like,
focused
oh, you
more,
want to
bruh.
start from game one? Okay, sweet. That's what they're gonna do.
You don't want to play that way? Don't play that way.
And then
Oh,
George
yeah.
Karl, his coach, they both went to UNC. He passes in, I think, game one. He passes by Michael. Doesn't say a word to him.
Oh yeah, he's a
He's like,
dickhead.
all right, bet. George Karl, he got voodoo from Sacramento too with Boogie.
Bruh, it's too many things that have come out that's like you didn't know about, but you heard the rumors of. And it's like, I didn't know the gambling was that serious, just to be honest. Like, even with the small docu-series that they make, I never knew that, bruh, you were in debt to a drug dealer, bro. Like, there's no other way to paint that picture. Why are you out here associating with drug dealers?
It's just a hobby.
It's just, bro, what? Like, that's insane. It's just like, and they tell people nowadays, watch who you be around, all this stuff. It obviously didn't apply to that man.
But think of how big
And he
Michael
was the
Jordan
greatest
is.
in the sport.
He did whatever he want whenever he wanted. Doesn't matter. He's Michael at that time. Think
If there's
about it.
one conversation I would have liked to have heard, and I feel like they didn't let that one air, is when David Stern found out that Michael Jordan was going to retire for the first time.
Shot
probably
and
offered that
Kev, what
man
do you guys think
everything.
about that? Do you think Michael retired on his own? Obviously, his father passed away. He wanted him to play baseball and this and that. Do you think David Stern still said something? He's like, yo, like all this gambling stuff, it's bad for business, this and that. You want to go play baseball? Just let me know when you're bored, but at least do a year.
I mean, I personally think Mike retired on his own. You got to think about everything at that time. Like, he had been playing, that was his ninth year, 3 straight championships, and, that was really like 5 years of deep playoff runs as far as East Finals, and, of course, the 3 rings. So, considering all that he was going through from being the face of the league from day one and just the stuff that happened with his dad, and he was kind of already burnt out, I think it was just time for him to go do something different. I think when you're tired in the media, it's kind of like that whole thing of build you up to tear you down. So the media was always on him, So I think at that point he was kind of like you said, he was fed up. He had enough. He wanted to go try a different challenge because at that point in basketball, he had accomplished everything that you could do. Magic and Bird didn't do 3-peats. He had won the scoring title every year except for 2 years. And he was the MVP multiple times, and he had won some All-Star Game MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, led the league in steals a couple times. He had done everything that you could do as a player within his first 9 years, so there was no challenge for him.
Yeah, he is when you all dynasties, like you look at dynasties, they don't last long when you keep winning. You have to throw in losing in there, and I think if you lose to, if you lose 92 or no, if you lose 93 to Barkley, I'm pretty sure he would have came back and he would have did, kind of like that. I'm gonna do it for my dad type situation. Just kind of like how Brett Favre did when his dad passed away.
I saw you
it-
I saw you tweet a couple weeks ago something about if Len Bias never passed away, Michael would have never retired. Speak on that.
Yeah, so I just think when you look at Len Bias, so first of all, he came after Jordan as far as in college. I think their time kind of went together a little bit, but he was dominant, and they was basically saying he was a power forward version of Michael Jordan. When you talk about athleticism, talk about how easy the game is, kind of what Zion is right now, as far as athleticism. It's so easy, everything come to him, and the fact that Len Bias went to the Celtics, I think, we talk about things that changed in the NBA, and this, how Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, like that's a game changer. And you already go into the team that already have Bird, already have McHale, already have Harris, already have Kevin Johnson. Not Kevin Johnson, Dennis Johnson. You were there in '86. You talk about does the bad boys ever win a title? Does even Magic
A lot of
ever
shit
win?
changes.
Right, and then you talk about Jordan. Is Jordan and Pippen enough? Obviously, when Bird, Parrish, and McHale retired, okay, Bulls probably still have that, had that advantage for team success, but you never know who Boston gets. And on top of that, it's like if they're saying Jordan's this, but Len Bias is always in the conference finals, and let's say he's doing it by himself, losing to Jordan or competing with him, they probably will say, "Oh, Len Bias, if he had a teammate, he'll beat he'll beat Jordan." It's kind of like how Durant versus LeBron was always a argument, or it's Kawhi the best player in the league now. It's kind of like those kind of arguments would happen, and I don't think Michael Jordan would be satisfied if somebody had his quote unquote crown or a kind of threat to it.
You got anything to speak on that, Joe?
Nah, I mean everyone's point I think was spot on. Like, it's so many things that went into consideration that all just happened to come out within basically a 4 to 5 month period. He wins a three-peat. His dad dies. The gambling thing basically gets to a point where you write articles about the man being accused of possibly his dad was involved in this somehow. So it's just like y'all said, it got to a point where it wore him out.
Yeah, for a fact, bro, he was fried. He was like, bro, I can't, I could just walk away and I'm good. I don't have to deal with any of this. And that's honestly, what people should do in life. Like, if they're unhappy, he caused no commotion. He was just like, of course he caused media commotion, but he was like, I'm just going to retire. I'm going to go play baseball. I'm going to fuck with their minds, but I'm leaving. But I'm not going to go gamble. I'm going to go play baseball.
So, last topic of the day.
Top
Most
5.
important topic. I need to hear everyone's top 5 French fries.
I'm going to go up really quick because I'm not even going to go long on this. Chick-fil-A fries, they're fire, but I feel like the ones that still have the skin on them, they're disgusting, so I have to have them at 5, but with some Chick-fil-A sauce, God damn. Thank you, Jesus, for making Chick-fil-A. Number 4 for me, Johnny Rockets. Johnny Rockets fries, when they're made perfectly, and you put the cheese and the bacon on them, oh my God. That shit is wild. Number 3 for me, this is in Florida, Las Vegas Cuisine. It's by Regal.
What?
Bro, those
No.
fries are gas, bro. They're fucking amazing. You guys don't know about that, but bro, these
You don't need
people
to
just
know
ripping up
about
the
it.
fries.
It's nothing spectacular.
He's a hater. He wants to eat Burger King fries. You weirdo.
No, what?
Number 2, I got Checkers. Checkers, bro. They're made fresh every single time. They're the best thing in the world. That seasoning is perfect. I could eat 2-3 boxes of those. I get 2 or 3 $2 boxes. I don't even eat all of them, but fuck it. Those fries are
Nope.
number 1 for me. When I'm talking about all these fries are made they're perfect. McDonald's fries are the best fries ever. Not
Nope.
too soft, not too hard, bro. I don't even have to say anything. Everyone knows about McDonald's. That shit's never gonna die.
Terrible list. Your turn. Go Trill.
Number 5 is just because I'm a chicken wing person, but Wingstop fries is legendary
Them
in my
shits are
opinion.
soft as hell. You guys like soggy ass
Nah,
fries?
bruh, they be getting seasoned, bruh. Them bitches be busting.
They're
You
fire,
sleep.
but they're soggy as
See,
hell. Who
you
wants
just
some soggy
did
ass
you
fries?
hear your statement?
The
They fire,
seasoning
but they
is
salty.
fire, bro. They're soggy. Who wants to eat soggy fry? That shit gonna break off. It's so fucking big, it just hangs off and falls.
It's fire.
Nah.
You said it yourself. Number 4, slept on fries. I don't think too many people get them. Pollo Tropical got some curly fries, and they be
They have
busting.
waffle fries now. They
Nah,
don't have curly fries.
Nah, but I'm talking about back. See, I'm talking about back in the day. You feel me? Them curly fries was busting. So I'm just like, yeah, I got to get that. Number 3, I got McDonald's. Light work. Always hot. Always good. Got to get them. Number 2, I'm going to sound crazy, and it's insane. And they classify as fries at the end of the day. But I got Burger King chicken fries. They be busting. They're made in the shape of
That does
fries.
not
That
count.
does count.
Threw a curveball.
That
I don't
doesn't
think-
count.
that
No,
counts.
we're
I
not
don't think that
counting
counts.
that.
You've been disqualified.
No.
How?
You
No,
disqualified.
They're called chicken fries.
That's not potato. That's chicken, bro.
We're
What
talking
the
about French fries.
All right,
It
bet.
might not even be chicken.
You right.
When we wrote
Isn't
this
it
on
10
the
for a
notepad, it says
$1.49?
top 5 French fries.
Not chicken fries.
All right.
You tripping,
Hey,
bro.
you fucked up. This whole time you probably drove over here and everything. Like,
You thought
oh,
you had a
I'm gonna
curveball for
Yeah,
us.
I was like,
I hit
damn.
that shit out the park. That's what happened.
Number 2, I guess, off the fly. I don't even much like them like that, but they top 5 because they're legendary. You got to get them. Some Five Guys fries be busting with
Them
a
shits are
burger.
fire.
Like, I don't care what you saying. And then number 1, Checkers. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's all I need, some Checkers fries. I don't need no chicken because that'll kill you from Checkers. But them fries are amazing. The way they're seasoned, hot, feel like someone's grandma just made them for me, but I know they were deep fried by some hood ass bitch, so it's okay. I know it's made with love.
All right, Kev, Shad, which one are you going first?
You go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, yeah, man, top 5. I would have Chick-fil-A up there as a number 5. The reason why they got to be a little low because they be stifling you. Like it don't be full like them waffle fries. Take up all the
They
box,
put
man.
3 big ass waffle fries and then a bunch of crumbs and be like, here, enjoy this.
Like, you
Straight from
get like
Jesus.
top fries soda, but they be trying to finesse you.
You
So
gotta
they
cut
gotta
the
be
fries up so you get a lot of fries. Cause it's big ass waffle fries.
Correct. Number 4, I'm going Zaxby's, man.
Zaxby's
you know,
fries be bussin'.
Zaxby's fries be hitting. Number 3, I went to school North Carolina. See, I went to ECU, and at the time when I went to school, they were only in North Carolina. And then once you got a couple years later, South Carolina got it, Georgia got it. I don't know about Florida, but cookout fries are top notch, man. Especially after the club, 2 or 3 in the morning. You don't feel like going to Waffle House, so you gotta hit the cookout. They open all night. So I'll go in there. I'm going McDonald's number 2. Y'all touched on that. I think they should be in everybody's top 5, to be honest. And then number 1, they highly slept on, and I'm gonna go Popeyes, man. Popeyes fries.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, you threw the
Yeah,
curveball.
you know what's
I
crazy?
struck out.
My
I
girl,
struck out.
my
That's the
girl
curveball.
tried telling me that I needed to include Popeyes on my list, and I said no.
I struck out. I totally forgot about Popeyes.
All right,
Popeyes.
what about you, Shad?
Yeah, man. I'm with Kev. Popeyes gotta be number 1. Like when those come out fresh, man, that's number 1. Number 2, I went Chick-fil-A, the waffle fries. They're undefeated to me, so I had to go that number 2. Zaxby's number 3, just because when they're perfectly seasoned, man, you can tear those up. No ketchup needed. Number 4, you got to go McDonald's because when they're hot and fresh, you can tear those bad boys up. And then number 5, I went Checkers.
Okay,
Checkers.
so for me,
You about to do some crazy shit like little kitty fries?
number 5, I'm going with Wendy's. All right,
Hold that shit, bro.
no, they
Bruh,
always got that
They're gonna
fresh
be
and hot.
fresh, but
They
you
don't
gotta get
even
them on the way
salt them
home or
correctly,
right away.
bruh.
5 minutes
That's
later,
your
they're
problem,
cold.
okay? You got
That's
to
not
say
our
your
problem.
opinion. I'm saying my opinion, all right? Number 5, Wendy's. Number 4, Wingstop. Although sometimes they try to kill me with the salt, that seasoning be right if
And
you
the
get the right-
sogginess should be hanging.
Yo, bro, you look like a soggy French fry. Just shut the fuck up with that, all right? All right.
The fries limped out.
Number 3, I'm going Zaxby's. These boys know what they're talking about. Zaxby's fries, they be hitting. Okay. Number 2, it's a tie between BurgerFi and Five Guys. They're pretty much one and the same, but they're both fire as fuck. All right. Number 1, Nathan's fries. Nathan's fries are the best fries on the face of the earth.
This kid is the most
Where is a
nastiest kid ever.
Nathan's? What is a Nathan's?
Go
What is a
either
Nathan's?
find a Nathan's and get some fresh
I
Nathan's
think
fries.
there used to be one in the mall, but
They have
You
like rest
whoa,
stops.
whoa! You talking about the hot dog
Yes.
place, bro?
Their French
That
fries,
kid is
they're
sick.
You're
the best.
insane.
Go. Have you
You're-
ever
you're a
tried them?
sick
Have you ever
individual.
tried
You
them?
got COVID?
Have you ever tried them? Have you ever tried them? Yes or no?
I don't, bro.
No,
I don't
bruh.
go. That's
But
something
have
in the
you
mall.
ever tried
That's
them?
something
Yes
in
or
the
no?
mall, bro. It's in the mall.
So
I look
try
at the
them
mall. I'm
and then
not
just
getting that
argue with
food.
me. If you try them, then you can argue with me. Till then, shut up. And that's how we're ending the episode.
That's wild. As always, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, NBF_Clo, NBF_Trill. YouTube, NBF_podcast. Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor, Nothing But Facts Altogether. At Only Imano. At Imano Talk. At the Icon Network. Unwrap Sports. Kevin Shad, thank you for having us on. Let them boys know where they can find you.
Yeah, man, you can catch us on 12 Ounce Sports. We go live every Thursday from 7 to 8. You also catch us on all your podcast stuff. Search Preach Kev, Preach with Rashad. Or you can type in the Prophets. All that comes up. So, I appreciate y'all for having us on.
No problem, bro.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it, bro. We have to do it again soon, man.
Oh, you already know, bro. All it is a simple text message, basically, at this point.
You let me know. All right, bro. You guys take care.